tears, just you guys say, no, stop it. My biggest hope when I perform and when I plan my shows and my tours is I hope that people walk away feeling like you can do anything. Like whatever it is you want to do in life, I hope that you believe it. And just before we walked on stage, my drummer, Drew, he's been my drummer for over 13 years. He's been with me the whole time. Yeah, give it up for Drew. And we have gone through such a journey together, and he stopped me before he walked out here, and he was just like, I know we hoped this would happen, but 13 years ago, I don't think we ever could have imagined that we would get to do this and still be doing this and traveling the world and getting to share what we love. And I just want to say, if two people as awkward as me and Drew can do it, truly, we're still awkward, but we were even more awkward back then. I just want to remind you guys that you can do whatever you put your mind to in this life. And I hope that you feel that tonight. I feel it from you. As you cheer for me, let me just cheer for you and say that when I meet you guys at meet and greet and I see your posts online, I believe in you. And just thank you for believing in me, truly. All right. This next song, I actually wrote it about finding the light in life. Because, it can be so easy to focus on the negativity around us and the anger in the world. And, but I really have been thinking so much about the fact that we literally live in between two parallel realities that are ever existing around us. We have the option to focus on all the love in our life, or we can focus on the opposite. We can focus on the fact that there's always a reason we could be jealous. We could focus on gratitude, or there's always a reason that we could focus on what we lack. Same with optimism and pessimism. All these different emotions, there is always validity in feeling either side. But this is something that gives us so much power in our life, because once we truly realize this, it makes us realize we constantly have a choice. Where are we going to look to draw our source from? Where are we going to look to draw our energy? And I will tell you that tonight, I was actually really nervous. You guys terrify me, to be honest. I was really nervous for tonight, and I was starting to really get in my head, and I reminded myself that I have the choice to focus on, the fact that sometimes I'm afraid, or I can focus on the fact that I asked my family members and my friends to pray for me. I asked my angels to be with me. I have the most amazing team surrounding me. I have such kind fans that are always there for me. I was like, wow, I can focus on the things I'm afraid of, or I can focus on this immense amount of love and power around me that is pulling me through. And it changes everything when we decide to find the good to focus on in life. And I do believe that I think sometimes negativity and anger and hatred is the louder voice in our life. However, even if it's quieter, I think that love, kindness, gratitude, if we look for them, they will always win. They will always be more powerful to change us and to be the emotion that we thrive in. And so I think my favorite analogy of this contrast is the difference between light and darkness. Darkness is ever present, and you cannot take darkness out of a dark room. However, you can turn on the light. And by turning on a light, everything changes, because the darkness has no chance. It has to move out of the way. So one more time, I'd love to invite you to put your lights up in the air, and let's turn this into a starry night sky. Woo! Lumos. tonight. Thank you so much. We have one last song for you tonight. And there's a bit of a story behind this song. You see, about a year ago, I found out some things about my 3-year relationship. Boo! There had been some secrets. There had been even more lies. And to be honest, at the time, I was absolutely devastated. I was heartbroken. I was so depressed that I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. That's where I was at. And during this time, my friends would call to check in on me, and they were like, "Linz, how are you doing?" And my honest answer was, "I'm not all right, but I know I will be."